Nuke, it's Team Liquid up against Boot, Group A, match number 1. And time to find out how this is going to go. Certainly expecting it will be Liquid, but it is Boot Dreamscape that draw the first blood. Benkai starts off well onto Twist, and already the pistol round starting to favour the CT side. It's looking fantastic for Boot right now, and this is literally the perfect start that you could have asked for going up against a team like Liquid. But we have seen 1v5 clutches before. Not this time, and not from Liquid.
So good to see Boots starting out on the CT side. That's going to give them an opportunity to get in their comfort zone, get in their groove, start to hit their shots and stuff like that. Good to see them pick up the CT pistol as well. That's going to start to get their economy going, which is so important on Nuke. You need all your grenades to make sure that you're running your protocols. You're throwing down those Molotovs on the hut and the squeaky door area. You're throwing the utility in towards the ramp. And getting the AWP over on Splash Key is going to be a massive factor as well for success for Boot.
All right, Team Liquid don't actually invest much into this one, so we'll see what they do end up doing in a couple rounds' time, but we're not really expecting that this round is going to offer too much resistance. There's a fairly heavy stack in toward inside from Boot. They've only got the one player on outer, although Splashkey does start to have a look there as well as Alex. I mean, I guess playing this long angle really isn't necessarily the worst of ideas, considering the weaponry that Liquid is working with.
Yeah, definitely not. Liquid's just on the full clock eco. Don't want to invest a single thing into this round because they didn't, I don't think, get any kills, or maybe 1 or 2 kills on Nitro in that last pistol, potentially. So they just want to save up all their guns to get the AKs and the armor, the smokes and flashes and stuff like that heading into the next round.
So Vi are going to try and build up a bit of cash here, but it's not going to work out too nicely. I mean, this is obviously not ideal. I don't think it's great to see Boot dropping guns this early against Team Liquid in a fashion like that. If Benkai does get away with this, then, okay, 4 guns through, not the biggest of deals. But I think as Boot right now, up against Team Liquid, like, you literally need to be taking every possible advantage. You need to be coming out of a round like this with 5 guns alive.
Well,
and this is just getting a little bit too expensive
100%.
for Boot.
Yeah, that 1 kill, it was fine, you know, to lose that first gun, but those last 2, particularly the fact that Twist is able to get them with the MP9, allows him to get full utility into this round that he wouldn't have otherwise had. Pretty huge. So now Liquid on their gun round over on the side of Boot. You're seeing some pretty lackluster weaponry, particularly on Alex and Bobosaur, although you can make good use of that XM if he's playing towards uppers. And, I mean, you're talking about success factors for Boot. You'd really be pointing towards Splashkey getting an AWP in his hands. You often say that Benkai is, as you would put it, Pog on Nuke.
I was typically talking about the T side when I say things like that, so we'll have to wait a bit to see that. What I really think is another factor, obviously, for Boot is starting on the CT side here. Again, traditionally a little bit easier on Nuke to start on the CT side. Maybe you can start to feel a bit better about yourselves if Boot get up, you know, 3 or 4 rounds and start to at least feel like they have a chance of winning this matchup, because realistically going into it, I wonder if they do actually feel that way.
Well, we'll see how they feel based on how they play at the moment. It's just the 1 player rotated for Boot down in towards lowers, 3 in towards upper, and Bobosaur holding onto that ramp room. Liquid's just slow creeping control on towards outers. They smoke off the annex and a flash over towards heaven. It's just Alex gathering info in this part of the map, and that's a good job from him. He spots out Stewie. He's trying to creep over towards heaven, and he just gets away after getting the info. This could be a pretty good kill for Bobosaur to get, but if he does go 1 for 1, that's bad for his team. It doesn't even get 1.
Yeah, definitely needed someone there to be able to trade him, but it's just not the option there for Boot. And now Alex, what kind of hope does he have of challenging ramp with a FAMAS and a Molotov?
Probably not a whole lot, and with Liquid, with the ramp room control and the first pick, they storm in towards the windows. It's just Splashkey to hold it down, and a 1 for 1's not going to be good enough, Jordan.
No, definitely not. This is where you're starting to see the individual prowess of those Liquid players get the better of Boot. Benkai may have an impact here, but still has to double down, and he does. That's the bomb dropped as well. With 20 seconds left on the clock here, Pili, there may well be a chance that Boot can win this round, but Alex just missing the shot on the player rolling around the corner. Won't quite be able to get it done this time. He has to go into the 2v1 clutch.
Yep, and he's been locked out of the vents by Nitro, who's just holding that headshot angle, doesn't overextend. Alex going to make his way up secret and try to get towards upper where he knows the bomb has gone down, but Stewie tucked in towards the lobby area is not going to give him an opportunity to get a one-on-one here.
No, this is not going to be easy for Alex at all. Already so much time has ticked away. At the very least, he does have a kit, but the crossfire from Team Liquid here, the trade ability for them is going to be so strong. And Alex, well, he's going to hold this defuse. I'd be very surprised if he gets away with this, but he might just indeed. He does! How has that happened? 3-0 for Boot. They do lose all their guns, but I guess that's better than the alternative.
100%, much more money earned into that last round. But like you said, losing all their guns is going to be Bulbasaur and Devi in particular, really lacking for the cash in this round in particular. You see a tech pause coming out for Boot. It's going to give them a little bit more time for Liquid to stew and think about, oh lordy, how do we let that defuse get away from them?
I mean, it's still not the kind of round that you want to see Boot winning if you're going to be given faith, right?
Yeah.
You want to be seeing them win clean rounds and that kind of thing. That really is a bit of a lucky round for Boot.
100%. Would agree with you. Liquid, from start to finish, really set that up for success, really relying on the individuals to take territory and trade out, and they were doing that beautifully. Ended up in a 2-on-1 where Stewie completely out-rotated Alex there and made his way in towards upper, buying time for Nitro to come in towards heaven, and they had the crossfire between Hut and Lobby. It was all really played to perfection, which is what you'd expect from a team like Liquid, but unfortunately...
It was until it wasn't.
Yeah, milliseconds off, stopping that defuse from coming out.
I think it's more of a case of delaying the inevitable really here for Boot than anything else. The way that Liquid kind of took map control, was able to win those aim duels, it really... It still makes that round actually look pretty good for Team Liquid, even though they don't end up finishing it off in their favor. I mean, a 3-0 lead is not that much for Boot at this point, especially considering, you know, look at the money right now. Obviously, they're going to invest into this one. They're going to be straight back to $0 across the board. Splashing probably can get an orb, so maybe there is something to be said about that. But for me, Boot is going to need to win another 1 or 2 clean gun rounds before I even start to believe that they're going to be able to make this first half something exciting.
Yeah, the thing is for Liquid that they've got enough loss bonus at this point built up to where if they get the bomb down, they should be able to get AK armor heading forward into this half. Obviously, Stewie, Twist, Naf, their money's going a little bit lower than the rest of Allegiant Nitro. So potentially, if they are able to win rounds and not win them cleanly, that could give opportunity for Boot to reset them once they reduce their own loss bonus by winning rounds here. Not the best weaponry on some of these Boot players, so they're going to have to make the best of it they can. Alex can't potentially take these fights towards outers with an MP9. It's not going to work out for him. Very fast control in towards Secret. You can see Allegiant is already down there, and he's going to have Bulbasaur to contest with early on. Bulbasaur does break those windows. Allegiant will be very much aware that he's in that area of the map. And Liquid, I think, just him down here, and Bulbasaur is not in the ideal position to make that XM work at this point. He's going to drop down. Twist is going to get a pick in towards heaven from outside.
Bulbasaur made a footstep there as well, so Team Liquid will be aware that there's a player on the B bomb side. And again, this is reminding me of the last round, Pilly. It's just players across the board getting individual picks here for Team Liquid, and Boot not really being able to take those aim battles and win them. And now Bulbasaur, well, he has such a mission. And with an XM, he was really only at best going to get one there. It was so easy to trade that now Team Liquid's in a 4v1. Benkai, the hero really of last round, I mean, I guess it was Alex that got the defuse, but Benkai set it up as being possible. Has no possible chance of actually doing anything this round in a 4v1. So he's just going to try and save that M4. And, you know, straight away, it's that reset that we thought was going to occur for Boot Dreamscape. Didn't occur last round, but like I said, delaying the inevitable.
100%, you know, they got away with that Ninja Defuse last round, and Liquid, they don't look too upset about that whatsoever. They're doing very, very simple gameplay at this point, just walking around the map, working together, playing off of each other. It's not any kind of crazy in-depth tactics coming out of Liquid. They're really just very much so just going through the motions round after round, and that's good enough to be able to come away with these rounds against Boot. Unfortunately, now Boot completely broke on most of their players. Only Benkai was able to save over that M4. The rest of the lads going to have to go down to probably pistol armor force because they're double eco at this point. And those pistols and armor can be pretty dangerous in close angles on Nuke.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Boot right now, is it? Like, again, when you're looking at the pistol armor to make an impact, it's basically off the back of the individual prowess of the player with that weapon. And I mean, we're just not seeing that be too impactful at all for Boot at the moment. Benkai's going to have to do something really special this round. I don't think Team Liquid are going to give them that opportunity very quickly into the A-bomb site. Very clean entry as well out from Twists, and Stewie gets another one as well. It's just all across the board, Boot players falling. And the M4 hasn't even seen any players just yet. I don't think Benkai's fired a shot, and he probably won't get to unless it's when he's trying to save that M4.
100%. Nitro is locking him down in towards the secret area. Now Liquid are very well aware of his whereabouts. We'll see if they actively try to hunt him. They won't have to. Nitro's just going to blow his head off when Benkai overextends and peaks a lot. Bulbasaur's just going to try to cling to his tires for dear life in CT spawn. It's all he's got left at this point. He hasn't got money enough to be able to buy into the rest of the next round in particular, like the rest of Boot. They're going to have to save another round to be able to come back into this game, which means that Liquid are going to move up to a 3-3 scoreline. But not only that, look how clean they're winning these rounds. Look at their economy.
That was a good effort from Bulbasaur. Got the initial dink, but not able to follow up with enough damage. All right, so 3 pieces is what we're looking for, but from there, where does Boot go? I mean, we still haven't yet seen the AWP in Splashy's hands. 6 rounds into the CT side. At that point, you really want to be seeing that come out, because again, I think that is a win condition for Boot. I mean, the win condition is very slim, right? But it is one of.
Yeah, but they're going to have to wait one more round before they can potentially have access to that win condition. And the problem is that that Liquid have such a good economy at this point that even if they do activate one of those win conditions, even if Boot do activate this play style where they get aggressive towards the lobby or they get the AWP on Splashkey and is able to disrupt some of this Liquid T side, Liquid has the money to be able to buy multiple gun rounds, and we know how good they are at adapting quickly to how the other team plays. It's only going to, Boot might have one potential win condition that they can activate, but all it's going to take is Liquid one gun round to adjust to that, be able to account for it.
Twist has been a machine as well. He's opened up so many of these rounds for Team Liquid. It's fantastic to see things progressing quite nicely for Liquid. I mean, it's always exciting to see upsets and that kind of thing in the early rounds of a tournament like this, but on the same token, it's also kind of good to see the favorites being able to win their matches fairly cleanly, because that really sets you up for like the ideal matchups later on down in the bracket.
It absolutely does, and I feel like Liquid are the ultimate sort of group stage and semi-quarterfinal team. Like, they are so good at winning these kind of matches without running into any kind of problems, whereas you look at a team like Na'Vi, who often lose maps to teams like Vici in the first round of the tournament. You won't be seeing that kind of shenanigans coming out of Liquid.
Well, you say that now, but there's always a chance. Who knows? Let's not count our chickens before they hatch. It's attack timeout for Boot.
I'm going to need to see at least one Zoom banger on Splashkey before I count them out of this map.
Well, I don't know that it's going to even make much of a difference at this point. Like, literally, what we'll have to see from Splashkey is probably like a career best performance if they're going to beat Liquid today. At
least on LAN.
On LAN, yeah. I mean, online, okay, he just sort of pops off and kind of does anything he wants.
Maybe we need to get a hypnotist in to convince Splashkey that he's playing online and this is just another Asian team he's versing.
Yeah.
Could someone sticky tape the top of his monitor where it says Team Liquid so he can't see?
Yeah, just like I don't know, what team would you put in there that Boot just totally dumpsters? I mean, the thing is, like, these days, like, Boot doesn't even really dumpster anyone in Asian CS.
Yeah,
like,
it's a bit rough, isn't it?
It's been a bit rough for them lately. Alex tries to get aggressive on out of the flash through the smoke is going to get the better of him.
Yep, and that's already 5 seconds into a round where Splashkey has the AWP finally. He's getting pressured and he has lost one of his teammates. It's a 5-on-4 for Liquid. Boot's going to try and consolidate the round by getting aggressive in towards the lobby.
But what is Bulbasaur getting aggressive in lobby with the next 7 for? Like, I don't know what he's going to be able to do here. He has crept up, but it's cost Devi his life. Oh no, I've been proven wrong. Caster's curse. Bulbasaur gets 2.
Yeah, but Stewie's in towards door still here, and he's going to shoot Bulbasaur in the side of the head. Does get traded back by Splashkey, but a 2-on-2 should favour the Ts, particularly when they should be well aware where Splashkey's playing at, so they're just going to make their way straight through the ramp room, uncontested as Benkai is towards heaven. Splashkey does get a quick drop in towards this decon area, and he might be able to find an angle.
He did find an angle, just didn't quite hit the shot, but here's another opportunity for him as Twist goes wandering onto the side, and Splashkey does shut him down. This has to be a round that Boot wins if they're to really pose much of a threat in this first half. Nitro, now in the 1v2, just biding his time. He's got a lot to work with. May even rotate back up to the A bomb site. He certainly can do that, though. Benkai is waiting for him. Does look like Benkai should win this fight. It took him a little while to actually spot Nitro. I was wondering what was going on there. But in the end, a round on the board for Boot, and a better looking one this time. But once more, kind of off the back of an interesting push, like you talked about, lobby push is something that Boot like to do.
I'd say it's pretty stock standard in all honesty. Like, you talk about a map like Nuke where you're down a man advantage or you even are even in players on the CT side. You do often have to get aggressive or make some kind of a cute rotation on the map to be able to consolidate the fact that the Ts have equal or more players than you do. So Bulbasaur getting into lobby there, you can't really blame him. It works out beautifully for him.
He's gone for the XM once again.
I don't really get it, to be honest. You know, one of the most important matches of your career, and you're just buying an auto shotgun every single round. But, you know, it worked last round.
Helps the CT economy, I suppose.
I hope MC's observing this game. He's going to be very happy.
He is. He is. Gosh, okay. Well, I mean, can Bulbasaur do it again? And the thing is, can he consistently do that? If he's going to keep buying an XM, is he going to be able to consistently have an impact with that XM?
We saw him in SEA Pro League literally push into lobby every single round, like 15 rounds in a row on CT side, and he's doing it again. He's already pushed into radio. Liquid, very, very slow sort of crawling approach, and they're going to group up in towards the annex. You do see T's lining up those flashes and smokes in towards the top of roof. Isn't going to be annex though. In fact, they are going to go for this outside control by smoking off the windows, molly in towards the secret in the heaven, and flashes over the top, but don't push Splashkey off the line. He has got 2 T's creeping up to him.
Yeah, but Splashkey, he hits those. Now really starting to set himself on this CT side. If he does peek a little bit too far to his right, Stewie will likely pop his head off, and that's exactly what happens.
Still man advantage for Boot though. They are very much grouped up towards this uppers area. Full lobby control for Bulbasaur. They don't have anyone in towards lower, so if Liquid do make their way down there, but it's only 14 seconds to go, they're going to have to go through Annex and Heaven. Look how many Boot players are here.
Well, it's only 10 seconds left on that clock. I don't think Team Liquid's going to be able to get too much done right now. Stewie may well save this AWP, which is, I suppose, good news, but they have plenty of money anyway, even if he does end up dropping it somewhere. But no one from Boot chasing. 5 and 3 now for Boot. Things looking pretty good. Better than expected.
Yeah, 100%, but in all honesty, look at Liquid's economy. They're doing totally fine in terms of the money with how clean they were closing out some of these rounds. And let's be real, if you're trading rounds with the T side, then you're not going to be happy with your performance, unfortunately. Boot, they only have one player who really has any cash in the bank, and they won't have any loss bonus really built up at this point. So unfortunately, the minute they lose a round, they're straight back in the binge order. There's no room for error here for Boot. That's a good start from Alex. First man advantage here.
Yeah, no, I mean, typically Alex is not the player that you look to have an impact like that. So to be able to start a round off courtesy of Alex is great news as well. I'm still waiting to see someone like Devi, for example, firing up. He's another one of those players on Boot. Wow, that is a good grenade. That does bring the firepower, so you look to Splashkey, you look to Devi, and you look to Benkai, typically to be the 3 that really can bring it forward for Boot.
Look at this from Boot, though. They've taken full lobby control. Alex has already, after getting that first pick, made his way down into lower, where he can hear these Liquid players expending utility. So Boot are very well aware of what's happening. They have the man advantage. All they have to do is just make the correct rotations to be able to win these rounds. Very one-dimensional take coming in from Liquid. They're all coming from secret and vent side. As long as Boot don't overextend down the vent, they're able to make use of this player on site in crossfire with the Megaton. They should be able to come away with this round.
Yeah, particularly given the position now of Splashkey, who will wrap behind them, or maybe even gets the information early as to where a few of those players are coming from. But it all comes down to the timing, and he does get both Elige and Naf before being traded out. Nitro doing a good job with the AWP, but that's really the only job that's actually being done right now by Liquid. He'll be finished off by the grenade. Nicely done from Boot. And now, Pilly, I'm starting to feel as though Boot can actually contest this map.
Potentially so, but there is yet one more gun round left in the bank for Team Liquid. Twist is going to be dropped over an AK by Nitro, and they will continue to buy into this one. Over on the side of Boot, money's actually a little bit more stable. Only Bulbasaur is really lacking for the cash, but I think that's just a side effect of him killing people with the XM and then dropping weapons to his teammates. So
seems to be working right now for Boot, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep. Let's see what the approach is going to be for Team Liquid. Does look like they're lining up those smokes in towards T-spawn. Stewie getting aggressive in towards this outside area. Just going to send him down secret by himself while the rest of Liquid group up in towards lobby, which indicates that this is either going to be a push in towards the lobby off the back of some pressure down secret, or they're going to contact in towards the ramp room, but they're going to run straight into Bulbasaur, who has pushed again the aggression into lobby from Devi. Only gets 1 for 1.
But if he can creep up closer here, get a leash for free, which he does, that puts so much pressure on Liquid. Now they have to try and challenge him. Does get the incendiary down, actually continues to hold the angle. Twist was ready for it, but a lot of damage onto Twist. I guess Bulbasaur in this case has done his job, and the rest of it now falls onto Alex and Benkai. Still, Liquid have traded effectively.
100%. They're in a 3-on-2 and they're just waiting for any kind of a push from Boot. It has to come out at some point. Alex going to drop down the vent while Benkai holds onto this uppers area. So Boot, they're forced to split up because Liquid, the fact that they're not making any sound means that they could potentially be walking out that ramp room, could be walking through outside. Boot has absolutely no information on what Liquid are going to do. They're very well aware of this.
Well, Benkai may well double down here, or perhaps he just gets his head banged off by Twists. Again, looking so solid throughout this map so far for Liquid. And, well, Alex has another clutch. This time it's 1v3. I don't know that he's going to even attempt this one. The AWP is too valuable to take through, looking at the money that Boot have got in this round. Yeah,
there's only really, you know, Splashky who's going to need the gun in particular, so it's good to see this save come out from Alex. He can drop that AWP over onto Splashky. We already know that Bulbasaur is going to buy an XM anyway, so call it the full buy for Boot.
Yeah, may as well. It's a nice one to bring back, though, for Liquid before it really gets too far out of hand for Boot.
Well, at a 6-4 scoreline, you'd probably be pointing towards Liquid being at an advantage anyway. Boot still have a couple more hard yards to be striding through on the rest of this half in particular. They need to be stringing some more rounds together on the board to be confident heading into the next half. And so far, I still haven't seen anything really special from Liquid. It's just been the very slow stock default approach. They haven't, you know, thrown anything crazy into the mix. No vent drops, no very, you know, crazy executes in towards upper or annex splits or anything like that. It's been very much just either one or multiple players down the secret and holding onto that lobby area. Occasionally a squeaky door push, but that's it.
Well, I think if you're Liquid, you don't necessarily want to be throwing anything too crazy at this matchup. You probably do want to be just trying to go with the defaults and beat Boot that way.
So this is how I was saying it. There you go. Naf starting to adapt to Bulbasaur, pushing the ramp room every single time, shoots him in the head. Stewie's already straight down the vent, so this is a massive advantage for Team Liquid. They have lowers control. They're very well aware of where Boot can and can't beat. And Boot, they're going to try to consolidate this by getting aggressive in towards radio and lobby, but they're getting shut down by Naf. Good adaptation from Team Liquid.
Now, once again, Team Liquid proving their prowess here. I mean, predominantly when we have seen rounds actually go the way of Boot, it's been off the back of either Bulbasaur with the push when the XM, or Splashky getting multiple frags with the AWP on outer. He's here in ramp room right now, and he can actually defend the B bomb site, but he's going to need to have another kind of heroic round here if Boot is going to find a way to win it. That is a good start. If he can find that second, which he should, but doesn't, that's the kind of a shot that you expect Splashky to hit, and that could have been the shot that actually would have won them the round. Still, it gives them a chance. Benkai can't win the aim battle against Twist, just way off.
How does Twist get that headshot when he's caught in the door?
I don't know. And now it's Devi, who so far has been a little bit quiet, and typically is one of the higher fragging players on the Boot roster. Here's a chance for him to find a very important round, but just biding his time. Now knows roughly where the two players are. And he gets the first. Nitro goes down through the smoke. Now there's a chance for him. But Twist has managed to escape. He's swindled it. And there's no chance for Devi at this point. It'll be another round on the board for Team Liquid.
And that, unfortunately, was the round that broke Boot's economy, which when you're pointing at a 6-6 scoreline on the T side, we're in serious danger territory for Boot. Yeah, okay. It's been great to see them get a little bit cute, pushing into lobby time and time again, calling some good rotations, Splashky hitting some nice shots. These are some of the win conditions coming out for Boot, but unfortunately against a team like Team Liquid, who's just such a high-class team, you know, one of the best in the world, even those small win conditions will only be good enough to put a couple rounds on the board here and there for you. You're going to need to dig deeper than that.
Yeah, we've seen kind of like, I would say 2 50-50 rounds so far. Both of them have gone the way of Liquid, right? And those are the kinds of rounds that, again, if Boot is going to win this matchup, they are going to have to win those rounds. Unfortunately, they're not being able to do that. So once again, they're back onto the reset. And Team Liquid starting to storm away with the first half now.
100%. Already, you'd be happy with 5 rounds as Team Liquid. You're going into an anti-eco, potentially putting a 6th round on the board, and then you're looking at what should be a pretty decent gun round for Boot. So they will be able to trade rounds on the CT side. We do know that they are pretty decent on the T side. Like you said, Benkai in particular is pretty good at getting aggressive in towards that outside area and wrapping through heaven. So we will see if Liquid will be able to deal handily with that kind of an approach. However, at this point, it's looking like Liquid are very much in the driver's seat of this game.
Well, as you expect to see, Bulbasaur will fall eventually as well, and once again we equalise. 3 apiece, went to 6-3, or roughly, and now we're back to 6 apiece. And I mean, this is the opportunity, I think, now for Liquid to really sort of double down and actually start to gain an advantage. Not that they haven't already got an advantage, but, you know, numerical advantage out of this first half. Splashy again with the AWP. Bulbasaur this time no XM. So maybe he's now adapting to the fact that Liquid have adapted. But what does Boot have left in the back pocket here on the CT side? Are they going to be able to kind of get to that pass score of, like, 9?
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. They've actually gone for a double push in towards outers. See if Nitro is going to be able to deal with this. Benkai and Alex together, but Stewie strikes from the silo. Deals with Alex. They don't know Benkai's hiding in the smoke.
Well, he's not going to be able to hide there for too much longer, so what little cover he does have is going to dissipate fairly shortly. It all comes down to timing here for Benkai, and he will get the better of Nitro, but Stewie's there for the trade. So all in all, can't complain too much about that one for Liquid. With that said, Splashkey ever faithful on the outers does actually equalize.
It's going to be on Divide to hold on to uppers if they do storm out this door, which they do. Splashy should be able to get an angle from Heaven. Good first frag from Divide.
Needs to get another one here, though, but gets traded quickly out by Twist. Splashkey, a nice shot hit. And Naf now into the 2v1. The Molotov does go up. Forces Splashkey and Bulbasaur back, though if they're keen, they may well just peek through it and deny the bomb. Not the case, as they've rotated into Annex. Splashkey will see him cross, but that is not going to keep Splashkey alive. And now the 1v2 potential for Naf is realized. And, I mean, Boot, that was a round that's gone begging.
100%. They very much needed to be able to win that round there, but Naf just too strong in the 1-on-2. Splashkey, all he needed to do was hold the angle and be a little bit more patient, but he just too quickly throws out the Molotov, which just allows Naf to get off the bomb site in the first place. And that's what allowed him from that position to be able to take those 2 1-on-1s and win the round quite cleanly. And now Boot, they're going to have to take a save heading into the final round. That's going to give Liquid their 8th round. And unfortunately, you know, looking at a T-side scoreline for any team heading into their T-side, you would start to get a little bit worried for a team like Boot.
Yeah, he certainly would. Alex thought he had an opportunity there, but it's very quickly going to be whisked away by Elige. Shot to the back of the head. I mean, Boot haven't really looked particularly scary with the pistols at all. I think all the anti-ecos that we've seen Liquid having thus far have pretty much been actually 5 players alive for Liquid. Once again, we'll see that be the case.
Yeah, Boot very much getting blown out of the water at this point, but it's good to see, you know, Benkai and Splashy, the 2 household names of Singapore, and Boot have a good performance up against one of the best teams in the world.
It is good to see, and it kind of gives you a little bit of faith maybe heading further into the bracket here for Boot, in that, okay, sure, they may not be able to get it done against Team Liquid, which is probably the best team at this tournament.
Yep.
But when you see them in the lower bracket against some of the probably the weaker teams, then maybe Boot has a bit better of an opportunity.
Hope so. This round, they do have an opportunity, as it will be buy on fiber. Alex, he gets flashbanged, and Elige surfs straight past his crosshair.
Benkai able to get one as well. Keeps it interesting, and that is a great shot hit by Splashkey. It was a do-or-die kind of a shot, and Bulbasaur also wins the aim battle in Hut, which now leaves us in a 2v1. This time it's Nitro, but Splashkey and Bulbasaur have barely any HP to play with, and unless Splashkey hits a nice shot with the AWP, you'd have to expect this is going to go the way of Nitro, and it does. It's 9-6 at the end of the half. We'll take a quick break, but be back with the second shortly.
Under peach yellow skies, dreaming big and aiming high. Name the clouds passing by, wishing we run away. All we need is our passports, baby. Leave the rest in our troubled minds. let us go down and left her, baby. Trying to figure out what we're after. We're never heading back until we're older. We couldn't care no more, not any longer. Under peach yellow skies, we keep on searching, but we will never know what we're after. Baby, leave it all for the faded hearts. I don't mind if they call us crazy, 'cause they don't understand what we're after. We're never heading back until we're older.
The champions of ESL.
Well, it's been a pretty good start to the first map for Team Liquid, heading here in IEM Sydney. Boot Dreamscape, well, leaves a little bit to be desired. 6th round on the CT side. Against a team like Boot, I mean, it's not the worst of scenarios, right, for Boot. It is still salvageable in a way, but we are going to need to see them lift quite extensively here into the second half.
Well, let's look at it for what it is. In all honesty, you know, 9 rounds on the T side for Team Liquid is pretty much the dream for most teams heading into that T side. Over on the side of Boot, they did get the CT pistol and only a couple of gun rounds stringed together after that. So in all honesty, not the best of outcomes for Boot. 6 rounds with the pistol. They are kind of getting shut down by Liquid's gun rounds so far on this T side. So on their own T side, they're going to have to dig deep. They need that pistol. They need Benkai to be absolutely banging everyone out of the server, and they need to have a good run of things on their T side, which I have seen them do in the past. It's not any kind of a crazy tactical execution-based T side. It is sort of similar to what we saw from Liquid, just a worse kind of a version of that, where it is very much the individuals looking for map control, looking for picks, and individuals playing off of each other on the T side of Nuke, rather than, you know, those crazy smoke walls into an uppers execute 5 seconds later, etc., etc.
Yeah, definitely. I think, again, the focus does shift away from Splashkey now on Boot and more onto Benkai. Like what you said, here on the T side, Benkai likes to try and sort of work his way through Outer, up into Heaven, try and get onto Rafters, try and find picks on the players on Rafters. And that typically actually works for Boot against like their domestic teams, you know, the teams within Asia, and maybe even to an extent the teams within ANZ when they do go up against each other. But against a team like Team Liquid, who, you know, if they see that happen once or twice, they're going to start to cotton on to it. They're going to start to try and figure it out and counter it out. I don't know how consistently that is actually going to work for Boot. But starting to find out as we do head into the second half. Obviously, Boot really looking to get this pistol.
It's a fast one into uppers. Didn't work out for Liquid. Smoke slightly missed, but these shots are connecting again in the pistol for Boot.
Yeah, well, I guess if the pistols work for Boot, then that does get them a few free rounds on the board. But straight away, Naf, Ali, Stewie, where has that come from? And then the immediate response out from Boot. But it is Stewie in a 2v1, and both Splashkey and Alex are down very low on HP. And again, it's a very, very doable one, but the same can be now said about Stewie. He's down to 9 and finished off by Splashkey. What a pistol round out from him. 3 kills. And that was actually not the easiest of 2v1 clutches for Boot. I mean, they're just as liable to get their head smashed off by Stewie as they are to smash his.
100%. So now the force spy coming out from Liquid. That's the second pistol for Boot. Pretty much just a dream scenario if you want to be causing an upset here up against Team Liquid. It's going to take more than just pistol wins for them to be able to string this game together. They are still down in rounds. They're going to need to have a very, very solid T side here. And a lot of depth, because there will be plenty of time for Liquid to adapt to this. And it might all start here. If Liquid can take away this force buy, it will pretty much be a freebie, and that might be a big opportunity for Boot to be able to even up the rounds and come back in this game and make things much more competitive. Missed if they do lose to this force buy.
Yeah, just a
However,
couple of...
they are from the Asian region, so they live in the Force Buy. They
That's
live
true.
and breathe the Force Buys.
Boot should certainly be prepared for this. But with that said, you know, a couple of tags out from Stewie with the Scout. That softens the targets up. Should be fairly straightforward then for Team Liquid to finish them off with the pistols. And we've already seen Team Liquid being able to do damage no matter the weapon that they actually did have. You remember the anti-ecos that Boot had in the first half. It didn't go too cleanly. Already Alex tagged down to 53. It is an exchange for Elijah's HP as well. But I think that probably even favors Liquid a little bit more so than it does for Boot. Another tag onto Benkai, and these are the building blocks to success in the round that Liquid needs.
100%. Liquid's not feeding any of these kills in towards Boot. They are just using their utility to be able to slow down Boot. They are very well aware that Boot have made their way in towards this ramp area, and those two rotates. It's both Stewie and Elige already down here in lowers.
Yeah, Stewie doesn't quite manage to get the headshot there, but Twist certainly does with the CZ. Already one player down here for Boot, and they are going to need to equalize fairly quickly because that collapse is starting to come in from Liquid. Players on all angles. Splashkey might be the hero, but he doesn't know that Elige is tucked in the corner, sitting on top of the office chair. And now it's a 3v4. Liquid have a chance to win this round. Hit some good shots, and it just seems like Boot have so many angles to watch that they're not going to be able to win it, and that is exactly the problem.
And this is like one of those examples where you see teams in Asia and teams in who are not as good as Team Liquid, they feed those Force Buy kills to the other team and make it so much easier to convert that 5-on-4. Liquid, they barely peaked anything until like a minute into the round, Jordan. Like, they were just not allowing Boot to be able to come away with easy picks, and at that point, that combined with the smoke onto ramp at 1 minute and some other utility expended over towards door, that really forced Boot's hand in terms of, hey, we haven't found a pick, we need to actually make a move in this round, and that forced him in towards the ramp area. Stewie was able to communicate that to his teammate, and the correct rotations were able to come out, and at that point, you know, Boot had already copped a couple of scout tags, like you said, and it was all over, unfortunately.
Yeah, so
They're not used to having to work for those anti-Force Buys as hard as that.
I mean, it really had to be a clean couple of rounds there for Boot to bring this one back into contention, but now Team Liquid looking really solid. This grenade from Stewie should do a bit of damage, and Elige is there as well to help out. Stewie re-peaks, gets himself a kill, wants to be involved in that stat padding, which is really what it is at the moment for Team Liquid up against this eco. Boot have not been able to have much of an impact there. Sure, some damage, but no kills.
Unfortunately, we live in the magical realm of Counter-Strike where after every round, everybody goes to, you know, the Pokemon Center and goes straight back to full HP. So damage is not going to be enough to do any kind of, well, damage to Team Liquid's economy. And on the CT side, when you're looking at all these players with so many green numbers under their name, it's very, very scary prospects for Boot. That's going to force them to consistently string rounds together on this T side.
Do or die really at this point for Boot in round one here at IEM Sydney. The utility out from Liquid, not going to allow Benkai up on top of Silo particularly quickly. So no real pressure exerted onto Outer just yet, and you can see that is being used right now by Elige. Look at the push that he's been able to take all the way around to CT spawn. In the meanwhile, on the A site, the entries are occurring, courtesy of Alex. But with the control that Team Liquid does have around this bomb site, it's going to be very difficult for Boot to get a bomb down, if even survive long enough to get the chance. Stewie will pop out and get 1 second as well into his gun sights. And it's a 2v1 now for Benkai. He has turned it from a 3v1 into a 2v1. And at least he's got time to work with. And this is what I'm talking about. He likes to work outer. He likes to work his way up into heaven. Gets a nice spray down onto Elige, and all of a sudden it looks doable.
Bomb is down towards lower, and Stewie definitely could have heard that drop. In fact, I think he did, so this is an off angle that you would almost never check if you're Benkai.
Doesn't look like he's likely to check it, but he is working as many angles as he can, and Stewie has fallen back to the silo position, still expecting him to come from upper. And Benkai might be on the right line. He is! How has Benkai won that? A 3v1 for Boot. That is exactly the round that they need to get back into this map.
100%, but with only one alive, their money's going to be absolutely cooked. And I said it before, Jordan, Team Liquid's been very responsible since winning that Force Buy. They've got a lot of cash to be leaning back on, so despite Boot coming away with that clutch and winning that round, they actually have a worse buy than Team Liquid heading into this one, and they have reduced their loss bonus, so potential for them to get hard reset heading into this next round.
It's a blessing and a curse, really, isn't it? It could be a
100%.
case of out of the frying pan into the fire for Boot. But at least, you know, it's another round on the board, so another
and by
one
the
that they
same
have an opportunity.
token, Liquid's almost out of money as well, so this is an opportunity for Boot to actually make their way up to 10 rounds here.
Well, They need to win the rounds as well. That is the problem. We haven't really seen Boot string too many together.
Lobby aggression came out of Team Liquid. Divide just backed off behind Lobby, and Lee just gathering this info and gathering all the kills until Alex trades it back. Pretty sharp shot from the man.
Yeah.
So Boot in a decent position. The problem is they can't cross onto the bomb site yet.
Stewie just locking it down. The smoke will come in, but it's too late. Divide gets caught with the push in Lobby from Twists, and then he just drops down into Vent and finds Alex as well. He's all over the map. 21 and 12 right now for Twist. He's having a fantastic performance to start things off for Liquid.
Well, on Benkai, I mean, he did the 1v3. Now he's going to have to do a 1v4.
Oh, yeah, well, you can't keep relying on Benkai to get clutches like that. It's
Can
not
you count to
happen.
5? Can we count to 5, Jordan? 1v3, 1v4? We'll see.
Nope.
Not going to happen. And with 4 alive for Liquid, any kind of woes that they were having with their money is not going to happen anymore. And with Benkai winning that round, it completely resets Boot's loss bonus, which is going to mean that they got 1,400 for that round. And you know what that means, Jordan?
No
They're broke.
money.
They're on double eco.
Yeah.
So it's either force buy and win here, or take the double save and give Team Liquid 14 rounds and infinite amounts of money to be able to continue to force buy into the rest, to be able to continue to buy whatever they want into the rest of this game.
I mean, you just look at the scoreboard here and you see really the only resistance is coming from Splashkey and Benkai,
Yep.
and even that is not nearly enough to deal with what Team Liquid is throwing at Boot at the moment. I will say I'm actually pretty impressed with Boot being able to get sort of this close to Liquid in a way. I would have expected that Liquid probably comes into this and sort of smashes them out of the server like 16-5 or 16-4 or something like that. I mean, to an extent, yeah, Boot did start on the CT side, but we haven't seen awful play from Boot. And we have definitely seen them contest in some rounds. There's been some good moments. So there is something to speak about, at least as far as Boot is concerned. But this matchup is definitely going the way that we expected.
So I love this from Team Liquid. They're just bombarding all of the choke points where Boot could potentially be rushing out of with a force buy with utility. Naf with a bit of a cheeky push on outers. And Boot unfortunately have opted to go for the save, which, you know, I would have liked to see them go for the force. It would have been shut down if they had gone for some kind of a rush, as we saw from Team Liquid's utility usage. Not liable to be able to be caught out by any kind of cheeky plays like that. However, Boot taking this double save here is going to give Liquid 14 rounds moving forward.
Well, that's a big spray down from Stewie. Elise will finish the last one off there. Round kind of gets swept aside fairly comfortably by Team Liquid, like the majority of the anti-ecos that they have had. And still we won't be able to see Boot really buy. So by the time they actually do get a good gun round through, it's going to be 14 up for Liquid. And we're staring down the barrel of, well, the map being over.
Yep, that is exactly the problem, unfortunately. And even if they do put that round on the board when it comes to, you know, that 8-14 scoreline, Liquid's able to close out these anti-ecos cleanly enough to be able to buy multiple times. It's not just that gun round that they have to win multiple. Out comes the vent drop, and the vent, I don't think the bomb actually made it down the vent, unfortunately.
Didn't. I guess that's a little unfortunate for Boot. The first player to go down is the guy carrying the bomb, but it is what it is. And you can see they're trying to do things. They're trying to make things work. They're opting for different strategies on these eco rounds, but there's just been far too many pistol rounds for Boot to really have much of a chance against Liquid, who, like, I can't even remember the last time they were on pistols outside of the pistol rounds.
Yep. So now, Boot's last chance to be able to come back into this game. If they do lose this round, they have the loss bonus to be able to buy into the next, but not as good of a buy as we see in this round in particular. Over on the side of Liquid, look at that cash. That's how you anti-Yuko, lads. 6+ K on pretty much all of the lads over there. So they will be having plenty of buy rounds heading forward. Let's have a look at what Boot's looking to go for in this round in particular. Big group up in towards lobby, and just that one player, it is Benkai over towards outer. He's probably going to be doing his thing, trying to lurk over towards that heaven area and outside and look for those picks for Boot. And if he does find them, that will cause the rotations out from Liquid. Here comes this up as execute.
Well, good counter utility out from Liquid straight away. Does keep Boot at bay for a moment. Now, though, they start to push their way into the site, but they're locked behind this smoke, and you can already see so many Liquid players set up in a crossfire that this is going to be an absolute blender for Boot. They have not got a single frag in the round. It's 15 up for Team Liquid. It's match point now, and Boot, with their first execute onto the A bomb side of this half, have not achieved anything.
It was a pretty interesting execute. They set up those smokes in towards the upper area to be able to just try to bait Liquid into looking at that part of the map, and they were hiding behind them. And then the good flashbang came out at the top, which created space for Boot to be able to actually come out of that smoke and frag the Liquid players. But unfortunately, where Liquid were playing, when they got flashed, they just took cover and re-peeked off the back of that and out-aimed these Boot players who didn't take advantage of the space that was created for them. So unfortunately, just not really using the execute to its fullest potential. And now, in this round in particular, they won't have any kind of an execute coming out as they don't have money for the utility. So that double eco, we're seeing the consequences of that. They had one opportunity and they got wiped the hell out.
See what Boot can do this time, walking out onto the A bomb site. Not going to work when Twist is watching the angle, though a 1-for-1 trade in that kind of a situation, probably favourable. Now, Devi has knocked the head off of Splashkey, but it's still favourable for Boot. They're not aware that Elige is lurking around in Annex, and Elige, well, he's going to double down and may well have just won the map for Team Liquid, unless Benkai can work out another one of these clutches, a 2v1 for him. He knows where Stewie is and does actually keep it alive for Benkai.
Look at him go. Every clutch, this man is just coming away with it. Doing the hard work for Boot. But it is just the classic, it's a matter of time kind of a scenario, unfortunately. One alive again from Boot. When they do win rounds, they don't win them cleanly enough to keep their economy under control, which means that as soon as Team Liquid is able to win, they often get reset. And in this case, they will get shut out of the map. No room for error here for Boot, and even if they do string 6 rounds together, you're heading in towards overtime. More hard work to be done.
Well, even if they manage to get to overtime, that certainly would be a respectable achievement for Boot, but it's going to take some doing, isn't it? Benkai, not aware at all that Nitro is just playing on the angle, walks straight into the headshot line. And that's already one of the key players for Boot out of the round. We don't expect Splashkey to have the kind of impact on this T side as he did on CT, and that might well now be the map over. As you said, a matter of time. Now it's Devi's turn to try and clutch it out, but the grenade says no thank you very much. 16-9 for Team Liquid in the first map. They're on Nuke. They do progress on forward into, well, the further stages of the upper bracketing group.